come.
Freaky fun for everyone. Sold
Leonardo, the katana blade. My God.
Attack the evil Inhumanoid, forcing him back into the earth.
Hey, the name's Boglins. You sold separately.
We battle our He-Man and Skeletor each sold separately. You put them out together.
Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful.
Battle against Lion-O and the new Thundercat ally.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce that we've done it. We've rebuilt an entire episode of That New Toy Smell. In fact, this is episode 9. This is the Star Trek episode. Dan and I are both huge fans of Star Trek, or at least we were back when it was good. And so episodes 1, 2, and 3 are all about Star Trek. He did episode 1, talking about the Playmates toys, about Next Generation. And I did episodes 2 and 3. Episode 2 focusing on the toys coming out for the new movie featuring Chris Pine taking over as Captain Kirk, which was new at the time. And then part 3 is talking about the Star Trek Mini-Mates and a bunch of that type of stuff. So I have all this stuff. I was able to grab the pieces, throw it all together, rebuild the entire episode. So we have that for you. And as I was pulling data off of these drives and looking through these video files, I found that I had some of the raw footage that was used to put this together. So I have some of the shots that we filmed inside Killin' Enterprises when we were doing like the beam in and out effects, doing the intros and outro stuff. So you'll be able to watch some of that stuff. I'll throw that at the end. And funny enough, for some reason I have a couple clips when Dan was working on the Playmates part of the episode. I guess I converted some of the clips for him. We used to film everything with, well, not everything, but we filmed a lot of this stuff with Killen's camera. And like I said, it would record in like this weird format, this TOD video format, which was nice, but it made these huge files. So you'd have to convert them to something that was a little more useful. And so I guess I converted some of them for Dan, which I had forgotten about. So I had some of these raw clips when he's in the photo tent just filming the toys. And on a couple of them, there's talking going on in the store. We're just having, conversations in the background. So, one's about 20 seconds. We're talking about making a new intro to the show. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then another one is just talking dumb stuff, whatever. But anyway, so I threw those on there because I thought that's kind of fun. But you might have to listen a little more closely to what's happening in the background to hear the rest of the conversation. But I thought it was fun, so I threw those on there as well. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this. This is the complete episode rebuilt of That New Toy Smell, episode 9.
Hey guys, welcome back to That New Toy Smell. Pixel Dan should have been back from his honeymoon by now, and What the what? What the heck? What?
Pixel Dan Enterprise, there seems to be no signs of intelligent life on the planet.
What the? What is...
Pixel Dan Enterprise, I'm still scanning the surface. With the new J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie hitting theaters this month, I thought it only appropriate to talk about one of my favorite toy lines from my childhood that was based on one of my favorite TV series, Star Trek: The Next Generation by Playmates Toys. Playmates began releasing action figures based off of Star Trek: The Next Generation in fall of 1992. By this time, The Next Generation was already in its 5th season, so there were plenty of characters to make into figures by this point. Galoob actually released a short-lived line of figures based on the series in 1988, but that's a story for another episode. I still remember the Christmas morning when I received my first set of Star Trek figures, all of which came from the first wave of the new Playmates line. Lieutenant Commander Data, Lieutenant Worf, Commander William Riker, Lieutenant Commander Geordi LaForge, Counselor Deanna Troi, a Borg, a Ferengi, a Romulan, Gowron the Klingon, and my man, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. The style of the figures was very appropriate for the time, and very common to other Playmates lines from the era, such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or even Toxic Crusaders. Each figure came with a slew of appropriate accessories. Some of the items you would find include phasers, tricorders, medical kits, whips, arm attachments, portable computers, dilithium crystals, and much more. I always loved that these figures came with so much great stuff, but admittedly, as a kid, it's easy to lose so many small pieces. And speaking of small pieces, the first release of Geordi actually came with a removable visor. This was soon discovered to be a choking hazard, and Playmates immediately began releasing Geordi with the visor permanently attached to his head. Because of this, the version with the removable visor is now quite rare, mostly because people like me probably lost theirs. Aside from great-looking figures, Playmates was also releasing vehicles and playsets to fit with the figures. Some of my favorites included the Shuttlecraft and the Transporter. The Shuttlecraft has the ability to fit one of your figures in the pilot seat, plus a few more sitting in the back. The design was very accurate to what you saw on the show, and it made some great sound effects with the push of a button. And then there's the awesome Transporter. Check this thing out. Now unfortunately, mine doesn't work anymore. But when it does work, here's what we do. There's a door on the side which opens up so you can stand your figure inside. Once your figure is in place, you can see him through the window in the front. Slide your fingers up the switch in the front, and through a cool trick with mirrors and awesome recognizable sound effects from the show, you watch your figure beam away right before your eyes. I was always so amazed by this when I was younger. It's easily one of the coolest playsets I have ever owned. Playmates continued creating Star Trek action figures all the way to 1999. In this span of time, just about every character or variation you can think of from The Next Generation was created. We even got figures from some of the other TV series, such as Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and even the original series. A whole lot of really great figures saw release thanks to Playmates. And now, once again, they have the license thanks to the new film, and new Star Trek toys are once again on the shelves. But if you want to know about those toys, then you're gonna have to check out episode 9-2 next week on www.thatnewtoysmell.com. Pixel Dan to Scotty, you read me, Scotty.
I'm giving those to Scott Safety.
Roger that. I'm scanning the planet's surface here. I'm finding some interesting aliens.
You take them more captive.
Really?
Scotty, come in, Scotty. Are you still there, Scotty?
She's breaking apart.
Okay, will do, buddy. Thank you.
Ha ha!
Whoa!
Klingon wash 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 wash. Mikroch, nufach.
It's a Klingon. I'd stand back if I were you.
Flock dich nicht wach. I hate my life. Hoflachecker.
Whether you like it or not, this is Dirt, and I'm bringing you this week's episode of That New Toy Smell. Now, last week you heard Pixel Dan talk about his favorite Star Trek toys from the old Star Trek The Next Generation line from Playmates. But Playmates didn't go away when they were done. Playmates has been sticking with Star Trek forever, waiting for some big reason to start making new toys again. And you know what? They found it with J.J. Abrams' brand new Star Trek movie. And they weren't happy to just throw out a bunch of toys and say, there you go, play with them. They made 3 different lines of figures. 4, if you want to count the prop replica line, you know, the phasers, communicators, the tricorders. But they brought out 3 different lines of figures for this movie. You've got your command line, your 12-inch figures, your warp line, which is your 6-inch figures, and your galaxy line, your 3 3/4-inch figures. Now, you know me. I'm not the type of guy to get all excited about a 12-inch or a 6-inch, but I like to wrap my hands around a 3 3/4-inch. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, that didn't sound right at all. Let's just move on, shall we? As part of the Galaxy 3 3/4-inch line, you've got this bridge playset, this transporter playset, and a whole mess of figures. Let's start with the figures. We've got Kirk, and Kirk that comes with the bridge playset. You got Scotty, and the Scotty that comes with the transporter playset. You've got your Spock, you got your original Spock, you got Nero, Uhura, Sulu, McCoy, Chekhov, and Pike. Although they say this is Pike, but if you've seen the movie, this is not Pike. Regardless, these figures are actually very well done for 3 3/4-inch figures. And, you know, I only have like a billion 3 3/4-inch figures to compare them to. They actually have a lot of articulation in the elbows, shoulders, the wrists, hips, knees, ankles, and of course the neck. Oh, don't forget the waist. The waist turns a little bit too. There's a lot of figures here, and while it's nice to see so many represented at once, if you're going to start getting the playsets, you kind of have to have all the figures. Here's why. Take a look at the bridge playset. Looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah, it's pretty swanky. Look at all those accessories. Sweet. That's what I'm talking about. Except when you buy the bridge playset doesn't come with all these accessories. It comes with this command center, and the screen, and these 2 little plexiglass thingama-whatevers, and the playmat. This just kind of folded up piece of plastic that you lay out on the floor, yeah. That's all you get in the box. Well, you also get a Kirk figure. The Kirk figure, by the way, here's the Kirk figure that comes in the playset, and here's the Kirk figure that comes on the card. Do you see a difference between the 2? No, because there isn't one. It's the exact same figure. You're going to get them twice. And the reason why you're going to have to buy another Kirk is because Kirk comes with a piece of the bridge playset. That's right. This is what the bridge playset looks like with all its pieces. Unfortunately, right now, they don't have all the pieces out on the market. This is what your bridge playset is going to look like after you buy all the figures that are currently available. So you got some extra chairs here, you got the extra control panels. Once you kind of piece them together, I guess it looks alright on the front half. Back half is still eerily empty. The only other problem I really have with this playset is that, well, there are no walls. I mean, really, would it be that tough to just throw in a bunch of curved cardboard that I could set up and just pretend is the front and the side of the bridge? I'd be willing to do it. And it's also kind of annoying that all these missing pieces, you have no idea where they're coming from. They may never even come out as far as I know. There are spots for them on the playmat, but they sure aren't in the stores. Let's take a look at the transporter. Now, the transporter is the same way as the bridge playset. Here's what you get in the box, and here's what it looks like when you get all the accessories. And here's what it looks like with all the accessories that are currently available. Not too shabby, as a matter of fact. Actually, the only thing missing is the extra piece of console.
Now, for the most part, it looks alright sitting like this. But the one thing that kind of sucks about the way that they've made this is that this console, where you put Scotty, really kind of has to attach right up here at the front in order for the buttons on the console to work the transporter. Wait, did I say work the transporter? Oh, I did. See, when Pixel Dan was talking about the next generation transporter last week, talked about how there was a mirror in there and some lights and how it made this funky little transporter. Well, it's basically the same effect happening right here, but in this little tube. When you press the button, it's kind of a neat little thing. It even picks up the base that the figure is standing on, so when you transport him down to whatever planet you're going to pretend he's on, let's just say it's, I don't know, Rigel 9. Anyone got a problem with Rigel 9? Alright, Rigel 9 it is. Then you press the two buttons on the side and your little guy pops right out. Yay, he's transported down to the surface. So you've got these two playsets and this whole mess of figures. Now let's get back to the figures for a second, because we kind of breezed through them a minute ago. Every figure is going to come with some accessories. They all come with some sort of display base to stand on. Now, Nero and original Spock just get these little things, that little round things, whatever. Everybody else gets a Star Trek insignia, comm badge, figure stand type deal. Now, the cadets, McCoy and Chekhov, get gold ones, whereas everyone else gets these silver ones. And they're made to be display stands that your figures can stand on, but they also have a little piece that attaches to the back, so you can wear it on your shirt pocket to make it look like you're wearing one of those emblems right on your shirt, because you really just want to get beat up when you go to school, I guess. Every figure also, except for original Spock and Nero, comes with one of these utility belts. It's got a phaser and a tricorder. In fact, I'm not sure if it's a tricorder. I'm pretty sure that it's supposed to be one. But the little pouch sitting there with the little silver thing inside, well, that's just one big piece of plastic. They just made a little box part of whatever that pouch plastic was and painted it silver, and they're saying that's your tricorder. So you don't actually get to take it out and play with it or anything. I don't know. I'm just one of those guys who likes to play with my toys. What can I say? If you get McCoy, he comes with one of these data pads. He also comes with a hypo spray and, all of his stuff. Chekhov also comes with a data pad, as well as his phaser and utility belt. All in all, I have to say I'm fairly happy with these figures. The Spocks, original Spock and new Spock, even both of them come with an interchangeable hand, where you can have them doing the live long and prosper Vulcan symbol of greeting and hope and joy and yes we can, or whatever that's supposed to be. All in all, though, I'd say I'm really happy with these toys. I'm glad to add them to my collection. And I hope you enjoyed taking this quick look at all of them, and I hope I can convince you that maybe some of you need to reach out and wrap your fingers around something that's 3 3/4 inches. I'm talking a toy, action figure. Freaks.
All right, dude, say it.
No, dude.
You gotta do it.
It's lame.
No, you gotta do it.
Beat me up, Scotty.
Ah, you're Scotty. You can't beam yourself up. God.
You know, there are lots of different Star Trek fans out there who collect lots of different Star Trek toys. And we've talked about some of the different toy lines that people collect these past couple weeks. But there's one group that I feel really gets no recognition about what they collect. They're a group of toy collectors that pretty much get left behind. So I think that this week we should spotlight a very special group of Star Trek toy collectors. The Star Trek toy collectors who collect
Mini-mates!
So what exactly are mini-mates? Well, quite simply, mini-mates are block figures. Just like the Lego man that comes in your set of Legos, these figures are designed to fit that same rough character design. Now, when Mini-Mates first launched, they were actually 3 inches tall, more in size with the Mezco Mezits or something like that. The first line of Star Trek toys to come from Art Asylum as Mini-Mates was this set that featured Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Khan, Gorn, Mugatu, and there was a variant from Figures.com of Kirk and the Tribbles. Now, there was rumored to be a Wave 2 coming, but that was canceled, and the 3-inch line of figures basically disappeared. But later, Art Asylum became part of Diamond Select Toys, part of Diamond Comics Distributors. They brought back their Mini-Mates line, but this time as a 2-inch line instead of a 3-inch line. Now, the first series of the 2-inch line of figures actually came in these red boxes. Not bad looking, and they're actually pretty nice. Then when they came out with Series 2, they moved to these bluish-purple boxes. But for some reason they thought, bluish-purple doesn't really work for us. So for Wave 3, they came out with these yellow boxes. Now, it's kind of odd that they were going through these different solid colors, because when they came to 4, they actually didn't do a solid color. This time they were going back to that idea of the blue color, but instead it looked more like outer space, just kind of a general space theme. Now, one thing that I really do love about the Mini-Mates line is the wide assortment of characters. Now, take Kirk, for instance. There's not just one Kirk, or an original Kirk and a movie Kirk. I've got 4 of them sitting right here, and I'm sure there's actually a couple more out there. In fact, I can guarantee there's more of these out there. But regardless, whether you want Kirk in his dress uniform or in the random outfit he wore in an episode or the movie version of him, he's here. More importantly, though, look at his accessories. They've got phasers. They've got communicators. These things, if you compare them to, say, a quarter, are fantastic for how much detail is in such a tiny, tiny accessory. Now, when I store all my Mini-Mates, I keep my Mini-Mates in these clamshell cases. These are actually designed for 3 3/4-inch G.I. Joe figures. But I put the Mini-Mates in there. It's going to keep them safe, and it's going to keep them with all their little pieces to make sure nothing gets lost. Now, let's look at some of the other characters they have available. If you want to go back to the original show, you've always got people like his yeoman. You've got Khan, actually the original TV show version of Khan, which is very cool. How about the movie version of Scotty here? Now, this is the variant with him in his dress uniform. If you're going to go to your local collectible store and just buy the random one off the shelf, he's actually going to be wearing this spacesuit. We can even go to Star Trek the Motion Picture. Take a look at these two, Colonel Decker and what we now know as Vija. Considering that these are 2-inch figures, there's actually a lot of detail that goes into them. Now, granted, the torsos usually just have a bunch of lines painted on, and that's supposed to be their clothing wrinkles and whatnot, but take a look at dress uniform Scotty and dress uniform Kirk. You can see that there are actually ridges and whatnot sculpted into them, but the belt is sculpted on. Most of these have hair, and the hair is fully sculpted. Plus, if they've got any little accessories like Uhura's sash, or things like that here, you can see that they actually put a lot of time and effort. Now, I showed you the Deep Space Nine figures a minute ago, but how about Next Generation? Yep, Next Generation's here too. How about Captain Picard and the Borg? Look at the detail on the Borg. There's actually a lot going on with this little guy. Plus, Picard, he's got his phaser in there too. The phaser even has a holster, and the holster works. These are not just little throwaway toys. These are fantastic collectibles. Now, say you're someone who doesn't know where to start with something like Star Trek Mini-Mates. Why not start with something like this? The Mirror Mirror Pack. You get 5 of these little guys in the one pack. You've got Mirror Universe Kirk. You've got Uhura. Marlena, who is Kirk's love interest in the episode. You've got the goateed Spock, who, how can you not like that guy? and then Sulu. Now, if you look at this pack, they come with the daggers, they come with phasers, they've got a data pad. I mean, pretty much everything that you'd want in your set is right here. You can rip this package open and throw these guys right on your shelf, and you've got your collection started. Now take a look at this little guy. This is the Unification Spock. And this was a Toy Fair exclusive for 2009. The only way you could get this figure is by going to New York and being an attendee of Toy Fair. It's a very rare figure, highly prized collectible, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll rip it open.
Well, that does it for this month's That New Toy Smell. If you want to learn more, go to the message boards at VGLosers.com and check us out. Also, be sure to check out thatnewtoysmell.com if you have questions, comments, concerns. Want to give us some ideas for future episodes, hit us up at tntsadmin@gmail.com. You can also leave a voicemail by calling the phone number at the phone number below. Plus, make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, for these two, I'm Duvall. See you next month. I'm just gonna keep doing this. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna. This is awesome. It's like a giant whale beached.
We need to make a new opening, guys.
I started one.
You started one?
Yep.
You didn't talk to me about it.
You didn't talk to me about it either.
I already told you the ideas for the opening.
Okay.
We already discussed that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right. Forgot about that.
If you don't do a good job,
You're out of the show.
you're fired.
No, it's not done.
Oh.
No, it's got to look good now.
Make
You're
excuses. Keep making excuses.
done. That's it. You're off the show.
No.
No.
Mo. Mo was Christina's favorite part of that whole movie.
Actually, Philip and Libby have discovered that movie, so we've watched it.
To what?
That was you, right?
No.
That wasn't you?
No.
Who was drunk and pissing off Jaren when?
Action.
Hey guys, welcome back to That New Toy Smell. Pixel Dan should have been back from his honeymoon by now, and
Hi, Dave.
What the? What? What the heck?
Pixel Dan Enterprise, there seems to be no signs of intelligent life on the planet.
What the? What is?
Pixel Dan Enterprise, I'm still scanning the surface. We rolling?
I think so.
Oh.
Yes. I can see the light.
Okay. Pixel Dan to Scotty, do you read me, Scotty? Roger that. I'm scanning the planet's surface here. I'm finding some interesting aliens.
Really?
Scotty, come in, Scotty. Are you still there, Scotty? Okay, will do, buddy. Thank you.
Ha-ha!
Oh!
Klingon wash 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 wash. Mikroch, nufach.
It's a Klingon. I'd stand back if I were you.
Flock dich nicht wach. I
hate my life.
Haflacheker. Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
Sweet.